Hello, I'm TechMidget, and today I'm kicking off a little, well, series I guess, of Visual Basic tutorials. So as soon as I've just, I've been using Visual Basic for a while, but blah. Anyway, apologies for a really bad microphone. So today I'm just going to show you how to make a really basic web browser. So I'm just going to go into, didn't see that there, new project, and go over to Visual Basic and click on Windows. For this project we will be using a Windows Form application, so I'm just going to name this Tutorial Browser. So here we are with our which is defaultly named Form 1. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Visual Basic, here we have properties. Here we have a little, so we can, here on properties we can just edit stuff, like I'm going to edit the name and just call this my browser, and that will change oh, I didn't like that, oh sorry, that's in design, can't do that, the text, sorry, my browser, there we go, so that says my browser. This is the Explorer, where we can just look between different windows which we have, if we were to add some, we're not going to today. And here we have our toolbox. So yeah, so this is a nice fun bit where we can edit it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the toolbox and I'm going to go and get a web browser and drag it in. So by default the web browser will fill up the entire page, and all you have to do to stop that is click on this tiny little arrow and click on undock from the parent container. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, kind of stick that to the side like this. This isn't how many people do it. You can customize it exactly how you want. It's not how I've done it either, but it's the easiest way. So I'm just going to make this fairly big. You can make it however big you want. You can adjust it specifically in the properties menu for the form. Down here by somewhere down here. Layout, I think, something like that. Oh, here we go, yeah, it's in size, so it's in the layout tab. You can also adjust this using the code as well. All these properties can be adjusted by using code, because yay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert some buttons, so you can just search for button. So I'm just going to, you literally drag them in, so I'm going to get 1, 2, I'm just trying to think in my head how many I'll need. 1, 2, I'll need a third one, I'll need another one, and yeah, I can go ahead and get another 2 more. So this one, now if you are a good professional coder, then what you'll do is you'll name all of these by design name, which basically means what you'll refer to it as in the code. So I never usually do this, but for the sake of, because yay, I'm such a good coder. But for the sake of the video, I will do this. So I'm just going to call this BackButton. Oh, we can actually put BackButton as well. Don't need to shorten it. Forward I will shorten. Brilliant. Forward button here. Here I have. So that's BackButton. Here I'll have RefshButton. RefshButton. Also, you can just write BTN as well. You can call it whatever you want, but this is just for the sake of the video, really. StopButton. Wait. Okay. StopButton. This can be GoButton. And this one, finally, can be SearchButton. Oh! Doesn't like spaces. Yeah, you're not allowed to use spaces. Which sucks really, but to be honest, it doesn't look good in the code if it's got spaces in it. It just confuses the computer. So I'm just going to lay these out how I would lay them out. So as you can tell from the names, it's pretty obvious what they're going to be. I'm just going to select both of these and literally just adjust the size a little bit. So that's just by holding shift and selecting them, and it works as if anything like Excel, where you just select them and adjust sizes. So this back button, I'm going to change the text to be a little arrow. So I'm going to do a little back arrow. On my browser, which I made with tabs and stuff, which I will show you in another video with an advanced browser, I made my own pictures which actually have actual, proper arrows and stuff. This one is a stop button, so I'll just write stop. At least I think that was a stop button. You can just check by going down. No, it was refresh button. Silly me. Right, refresh down here. And up here, this one was a stop button. So that can be stop. Now, this next one is the go button. So I'm going to go and get a text box. Just a regular text box. You don't need a masked text box or a rich text box or anything like that. You can just get a completely regular text box. And you can size it however you want. This will be the URL bar. Yeah, like I say again, don't feel you need to do it exactly how I'm doing it. You can style it however you want. That's the whole beauty of making your own programs. So this is going to be my little URL bar, and this is going to be the go button. Or in some cases that would also be a little arrow. Now we'll come to this one later, but for now I'm just going to call this one search. Right then, let's get to it. So web browser, I think the name of that is just web browser 1. I'm just going to, in fact actually I'm going to keep that 1 because you can get confused easily. So, or the computer can between, if you want to insert if it's complicated. Anyway, clever me explaining stuff there. So, all you have to do is to get into the code, we'll start with the back button, is you literally double click on the thing you want to write. So I've double clicked on the button, and now I'm in a little area which is called a sub, which is basically the area of what happens when this happens, basically. So BackButton.Click or _click. So when that button's clicked, this will happen, basically. So all I'm going to write is, I'm literally going to write web browser 1, which is the name of the web browser, dot go back. Now, and then open bracket, close bracket, which it will do automatically if you don't put it in yourself. And that is really all there is to it. Visual Basic makes it really easy to make basic web browsers like this. Oh! The little go back button. Very basic code. Visual Basic makes it really easy. So, forward button, you may have guessed, double click on it again. You just use these tabs up here to go between code and design. So here we go, we have this one. So this one is what happens when you press the forward button. So this will be go forward, if I can spell forward properly. And then the same. So that's done. I'm just going to go back, double click on refresh, web browser 1. You can use the arrow keys when the little help prompts come up, and then just when you've selected one you can just press dot or whatever you're putting next and it'll paste it in automatically. So now I can do refresh, and the same. Exciting. Stop button, you guessed it, stop. Now, this is where it gets a little more difficult. So, well, it's not really that much more difficult. So what you do is double click on, you leave this one, double click on go. So, now we've double clicked on go, we can get to the code of what happens when you press the go button. Now, simply, that's really, simply it's simple, yeah. Simply, it's very simple. So here, we want to write web browser 1 dot navigate. Now, if you go into the properties of the web browser, you will see that it has one called URL. Now, if you put address into this, then it will launch, the website will launch on that address. So when I first started, I was like, oh, I've got this, I know exactly what I'm doing. Put in webbrowser.url equals and then URL, and it didn't work. That's because it just doesn't work. What you have to do is you have to do navigate instead. So webbrowser.navigate, and then open brackets, but instead of going close brackets, in between these brackets, we will put, so this basically, inside the brackets is where it will navigate to, basically. Because in here, brackets are completely pointless up here because it's not stopping. You don't need to tell it where to stop because it just needs to stop. So, here we literally, if you wanted to do a specific one, then you do open quotation marks, take Google for instance. That would mean now that if you push that button, it will go to Google. But since we're not doing that, since we're doing what that text box is, which I believe is called text box 1, we literally type, without quotation marks, text box 1.text. So we're getting text box 1 and we're loading up the text of text box 1. So that's that done. So now we can have a very quick look at our browser. So we're just going to hit start at the top. Now it will go nowhere to start off with, but if I just type in www.google.com and press go, then here we are at Google. And it works very simply, just like that. So if you want it to start at a website, then all you have to do is double click on the top bar here. Now this box, when you do that, you can write the code for what happens when the program starts. So when it starts, it does what we're about to write now. So we can set web browser 1.navigate, and then we can write Google if we want that to be our homepage. I'm just going to set it as Google for now because that seems like a reasonable enough homepage. So yeah, it seems reasonable enough. So it doesn't exactly look the nicest, so I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. That wasn't really much bigger, but it's big enough for me to be able to do what I want to do next. So have you noticed on those good web browsers you get a little Google search box? Well, that's what we're doing here. So I've just moved it around a bit. I'm going to get a new text box, drag it in. I'm going to just adjust it to the size I want it to be. And here it is. So now we're going to go into double click on search. Now this is a lot easier than you may think. It's once again web browser 1.navigate, except this time instead of writing just the URL, which will take you to the address, we will have to go onto the internet. So here we are on the internet. Yay! Now all you have to do is just search for something completely random. I'm going to search for cheese, because cheese is really nice, by the way. Cheese is underrated. So all you're going to have to do is copy. Now where you see your search results, where you can just test put cheese C, is here. So that's your search result in this little box here. So all I'm going to do is copy all the bit before the search result. So you can actually try it yourself. So if you realise, if you copy that and then write blah, 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 it will search for that. That's how Google works, basically. So I'm going to come off the internet, and I'm going to put, in quotation marks, that link there. I swear when I did it before it was way shorter. I think it depends on how you do it. Close quotation marks, and then just a regular ampersand, and then textbox2.text, which is that text box which I failed to name, because, woo, clever me. So that basically means it's going to have that when you press a button, it's going to go to that address, plus, and then add this text right on the end where that is. Which basically means when we start up now, if I search in cheese once again, and then press search, it will take you to cheese. So, that's my very basic web browser, which you can completely customize however you want it to be, and make it bigger or smaller or whatever. I will be doing a more advanced web browser in the future. So, yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If you want to share your opinion, post a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. Give me constructive criticism. If you think I talk too much, then yeah. And if you subscribe, then you'll get more videos like this and reviews. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.